Hey guys, welcome back to Deepak's Daily Reading. Today is the 15th of July 2023, and I want to talk about fundamentally the chapter that I read by Peter Holland, The Science of Self-Learning, about speed reading, and ultimately how if you can increase your rate of actual reading, you can and comfortably increase your rate of reading, then of course you can improve the speed at which you learn, assuming that you maintain a high level of comprehension that's comparable to also when you read slowly. So this is different from scanning and from skimming, and anything that causes you to lose sense of what you're reading, that is not the goal here. So what I want to then go through is some of the takeaways from this chapter that I read, because it's pretty insightful. So WPM is, of course, words per minute that you can read, and it tends to progress as you get older, and also can at sometimes be profession or training specific, if you will. So academics, teachers tend to have a higher WPM word per minute than, for example, a student would, but it does tend to cap out at a postgraduate level, more or less, if you will. So the interesting thing is that in terms of how to read more effectively, the actual physical process of reading, you're not taught beyond, for example, kindergarten, let's say, about the concept of reading something out loud, going carefully over each word, and the training the training in how to become a more effective reader does stop at that point. So I want to go through some of the points that Hollins makes as to how you can speed up comprehension and learn more quickly. So the first thing is that scanning and skimming serves only a purpose from a surveying perspective, that you can scan and skim before you read to get a sense of the book, but scanning and skimming does not replace reading, and scanning and skimming does not lead to actual deep learning. So scanning and skimming is a tool to help survey a book before you go in and do an in-depth audit, if you will. The next thing is that subvocalizations is something that all of us are taught to do when we are younger, which is the read out loud, and then what tends to happen is that you read under your breath, and then what tends to happen is that you read, if you will, in your head. So training yourself to kill the subvocalization will actually speed up your rate of comprehension, because you of course read a lot more slowly than you think, so, and you comprehend a lot more slowly than you articulate anything, because that's how intuition and instinctual response of course comes from. So to kill subvocalizations, you want to practice killing the voice, and potentially some of the things that you could try and do is have a melody that you hum as you read to see if that works. The other thing is to see if you can use, for example, a pencil to follow the lines and take the pencil along the page faster than you ordinarily would say the words out loud, and get to a place where it becomes comfortable, because you can't keep up with your pencil in terms of being able to speak it out loud. So there's some examples of things that you could do. The next thing to think about is training your peripheral vision. So you've got your macular vision and you've got your peripheral vision. Your macular vision is a little bit akin to tunnel vision, if you will. You read or see directly what's in front of you. So if you can train your peripheral vision, it means that you can start from, for example, in a sentence, the second or third word in, because you can peripherally see the actual words. So one way to practice that is just when you're out, to look all the way to the right and focus upon what's in your peripheral vision. Look all the way to the left and focus what's in your peripheral vision. Put a marker, like for example your finger, in the or at the edge of your peripheral vision, and then you can practice this intermittently or from time to time to get used to seeing more, if you will, or being more acutely aware of that which is within your peripheral vision, and as a consequence speed up your comprehension. So that was quite interesting. So the other thing also, as you read, I've got this in my notes. So you need to learn to not read the unneeded words. So for example, if I'm to give you an example, the cat that was sat on my desk later ran across the room to eat some food. So the needed words would be cat sat desk ran food, as an example. So that would be actually 40% of that sentence that I've just said. The cat that sat on my table ran across the room to eat food. Cat sat table ran eat food. So there's a 30 to 40% culling of unneeded words. So getting used to skipping and scanning through words that are unneeded, and they're typically there's typically a pattern to these types of words. So getting used to that is also going to help. And then fundamentally, there's the EIAS approach, which is examination of content, which is reading a table of contents, scanning bits and pieces of it. There's inspecting the content, which is then getting a sense of, for example, what is a book going to be about. So this is the stuff we've discussed before, which is looking at commentaries, looking at reviews, reading an overview. I might read a Blinkist analysis, and then synoptic reading, which, to be honest with you, I can't recall exactly what they are for, but it's that systematic way of looking at content that you wish to learn. So for me, this book was something that I put into my notes yesterday at 8 a.m. So I'm trying to bring it back from recall, and then also for myself, the way that I'm trying to leverage this is by slowly increasing the speed at which I listen to Audible. So over the years, I've slowly graduated from 1 to 1.25, 5, 7.52, 2.25, 2.35, and now I'm flitting between 2.35 and 2.5, depending upon the book and the natural pace of the narrator. And I haven't lost comprehension. It does vary depending upon environment and if I'm more able to focus, which is where I spoke about closing my eyes and doing things such as that. But definitely I am forcing my speed to increase progressively and slowly through speeding up Audible. Certainly a year ago I couldn't listen at 2.5. It would simply be too fast, but that's just one example of how I'm implementing it. So yeah, great little chapter on the science of self-learning and how to speed read more effectively.